Well, good afternoon. I'm Rick Dancer. Welcome to Get Real with Rick Dancer. And today we're going to get real with some trends for 2021 and what's gone on. The gentleman we're about to hear, he's been on Oprah, he's been on NBC News, Fox News, everything, all over the internet. You don't have to look far to find him. I didn't tell you his name because I know how some people are. They'll go in and just try to find things to troll on him. So I've given him a chance to have his say first. Before you guys can get after him. I'm excited to bring him to you because there's some different ideas. And you guys, here's the whole thing. I know some of you don't like hearing other information, but I'm a former journalist. And what's going around right now in the media is a one-sided story. And I cannot sit by and watch that. I'm 61 years old. I spent 30 years in journalism. And what is happening right now is absolutely wrong. So you need to have all information, even the stuff that you don't want to hear. And that's what we're providing here. Thanks to Buck Sanitary Service. This show's called The Buck Stops Here because the buck really does start right here with you. You don't get to bully people. You don't get to yell at people for their beliefs or what they think. This is still the United States of America where all opinions matter. And I'm not going to let that die on my show. So Buck Sanitary Service sponsors our show. Scott and Lisa don't always support everything I believe and talk about. You don't have to sponsor someone. But what you do, if they do believe that I believe, is that we can all have a conversation together. So I want to introduce this guy now that I've given my spiel. This is Gerald Celente, and you are the founder of, tell them.
The Trends Research Institute, 40 years ago, actually 41 now.
So what is that? Kind of give them your story, like just a little, so they kind of understand who you are and what you're talking about.
Well, I began my career after graduate school running mayoral campaign in Yonkers, New York. I was like the campaign coordinator. And that's a city of like 300,000 people. Angelo Martinelli became the longest running mayor of Yonkers. And I worked on statewide, district attorney and state senators campaigns. And then he sent me up to Albany. And at 26 years old, I was the assistant to the secretary of the New York State Senate. And I designed and instructed American politics and campaign technology and taught it at St. John's University. I was the number 2 guy running a major trade association in the 1970s. And I was also a government affairs specialist before that, actually killing environmental legislation right at the peak of it in the mid-70s. So I've been on the other side. That's why I know what things look like. I've been with presidents, prime ministers, and princes. Spoken all over the world to major groups from De Beers to American Express, DuPont, you name it. We've done trends research for many of them. And we began the Trends Journal magazine in 1991. It's the only magazine in the world that tells you what's going on, what it means, and what's next. And I'm a political atheist. I've been on, I've seen the sides. So to me, anybody that believes in a political system, knock yourself out. I don't want to hear about it. Grow up. To me, it's the Bloods and the Crips. They're murderers and thieves. By their deeds, you shall know them. How many more wars do they have to start based on lies? How much more of our money do they have to steal to give to the bigs and the too big to fails? And it can keep going on and on. So I look at things the way they are and not the way I want them to be.
So how do you see things with COVID and the reaction, what I call the reaction to COVID?
Well, again, you go back to our magazine, you go back to the January 28th cover. And remember, the COVID war starts in mid-January on Chinese Lunar New Year. So this is right after that. And the headline reads, coronavirus, 106 dead in China. And our next line was 1.4 billion still alive. The new Black Plague. What the hell are you telling me 106 people died in this country where the reason people wear these moronic, stupid pieces of useless crap face masks is because of the air pollution? Only 1.5 million die each year from air pollution in China. What the hell are you telling me 106 people died from the virus? Oh, in India this year, or 2019, 1.67 million people died of air pollution. That's only every year. And we won't talk about all the pesticides, the chemicals, all the poisons they put in our food, our water. We forget that stuff. Forget all those artificial flavors, colors, all the stuff that keeps food alive for 100 years. Don't worry about that. Watch out for the COVID. And you look at numbers. And again, that's all we do. We look at facts. The motto of the magazine is think for yourself. I mean, where do you want to start? Oh, let's start with this. Around the world, about 50% of the people that have died are from nursing homes. The average age of the deaths, 70% of the people that died in Canada from nursing homes. The average age of the deaths in Germany, 79 years old. Italy, 81 years old.
So why don't people talk about the living?
The people don't talk about it because, again, it's a corrupt system. It's murderers and thieves. As you mentioned, I used to be on Oprah, the Today Show. Good Morning America. You name them, I've been with them. From O'Reilly to Katie Couric to Oprah Winfrey to June London. I mean, on and 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 on. Once you start talking about what they don't want you to talk about, you're gone. And so it's one big club and we ain't in it. I call them prostitutes. They get paid to put out by their corporate pimps and their government whoremasters.
So Gerald, when you look at the actual numbers, what would you want people to understand what they're looking at?
Who's dying, why, and where, and how.
So who is dying, why, where, and how?
Yeah. Well, where is, again, you're looking 50% from nursing homes. Remember when the COVID war started in America? Kirkland, Washington. Who was dying? It's right there. Anybody could look it up. Nursing home, nursing home, nursing home, nursing home, nursing home, nursing home. And then, ladies and gentlemen and children of all ages, the geeks took control. That little clown of a boy with all the crap going through his everywhere, Dorsey, with Twitter, cancels his trip to South Africa and tells people he could work from home. A little alien, freaky-looking clown, Zuckerberg, Facebook, stay home. Another nothing of a boy, nothing, anything, Cook. Stay home.
So talk to me about the lockdown.
Stay home. Don't go out. We're going to get more control. Our stocks are going to rise up really big. More and more internet. No going to work. Zooming. We're going to gain more and more money. We're going to freak you out. We're low-life pieces of geek crap. We'll tell you what to do. They already got you, man. They got everybody. And they got them again.
So you're saying the numbers do not add up about what they're talking about.
Oh, the numbers are there for anybody to look at. What's the recovery rate? Oh, only 99.8%. What is it for people and not my numbers, Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. You're 1 to 20 years old. Oh, the recovery rate's only 99.997%. Oh, let's lock down LA County. Look at the freak running the show over there, the so-called health minister, Ferrer. A ghost of a woman. Look at the little freak they got over there in Pennsylvania, Rachel Levin.
So, Gerald, what is your biggest concern?
Let me go back to the numbers. Los Angeles County, 10 million people. How many deaths so far? March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December. How many deaths? Do you know?
No, I don't.
10,000. 10,000 out of 10 million, we're talking 1/10 of 1%. You got it? You don't have to know math to figure that out. Got it? 1/10 of 1% of the people dying, and you'll destroy the lives of millions of people and millions of businesses.
So you talked, when I heard you on KPNW talking on there, you were talking about the media and the role that it has played in that. Would you kind of touch on that for me?
Sure. Go back to February. The ratings are in the toilet for Fox, for CNN, all of them. CNN, MSNBC, terrible. Zuckerberg, Greenberg, iceberg. What's the difference? Pieces of crap with both of them, Bergs and no Berg. The guy that runs CNN, quoted in by the Wall Street Journal by one of his staff saying, keep this going. People are tuning in. Nobody was watching little Anderson Cooper, another little boy born on third base and thought he had a home run being nobody. If my mommy wasn't Gloria Vanderbilt.
So are you saying this was a ratings ploy?
Oh, absolutely. Brings fear sells.
So, Gerald, somebody came on and said, I was hoping for some actual nonpartisan dialogue.
It's not nonpartisan. Don't even want to talk about it. I gave you the numbers. If you can't add up the numbers, I don't want to talk with you. You show me one number that I came up with that's wrong, Junior.
You kind of hold back with what you think, don't you?
I've had it, man. I'm a trend forecaster. I've been at this for 40 years. My books, Trends 2000, Trend Tracking, National Bestsellers. I write a magazine for 40 years. If anyone out there could show a better track record than me, bring your stuff, we could begin to talk. I see the future, and it's hell on earth.
So
and I'm excited about it.
So, Gerald, what do you see for 2021? What do you, from the numbers you see, what are you looking at?
Oh, all right. Where do you want to start? How about the death rates, huh? How about all those homicides that are going way up? That we said what would happen back in March. Need some numbers? Let me see if I could find some. I had some right here a little while ago. You saw it like in New York State, New York City. I think they've only gone up the shootings 41%. Around the whole country, 36.7%. When people lose everything and have nothing left to lose, they lose it. And they're losing it. So those are the kind of things you're going to see. Crime going through the roof.
I was talking to a teacher in Redmond, and she said they've had a number of kids committing suicide or thinking, or really talking about suicide more. And we don't hear a lot about the mental health aspects of what's going on.
I just had one of my closest friends for many years commit suicide on New Year's Eve day. 70-year-old guy. The suicide rates are going way up. This is unprecedented in world history where they're locking economies down. I mentioned, again, only the facts. The masks that everybody wears, right?
Right.
Read the box. Anybody that can read the box. These masks do not eliminate exposure to the risk of any disease or infection. But you wear that mask. Oh, when you say socially distanced 6 feet apart, well, maybe I say 1.3 meters. I say 1 meter. Well, I say 2 meters. I say go screw yourself, because didn't they come out with the thing saying that it could spread 27 feet? And again, who's dying from it? Elderly people. Oh, 94% Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. Anybody that wants to say anything. 94% of the people that have died of the disease had 2.6 pre-existing chronic conditions. Obesity, type 2 diabetics, lung disorders, heart disease. Can't understand why America's rate is so high. Oh, only 42% of the people are obese. Only 70% are overweight. Oh, and by the way, I have this here because just to make the point, I don't need anybody that calls himself a health expert like that little clown boy that is a girl, Rachel Levin, telling me what to do. This is the first book I worked on in 1986, Natural Healing, a Warner book. I have an honorary doctorate from the National University of Health Sciences. I know about this field. Nobody talks about building your immune system. Nobody talks about vitamins or supplements. So nobody talks about getting healthy. You got to get vaccinated.
Talk to me about this, because I've read a lot of studies that are showing vitamin D. There's a lot of evidence that vitamin D is a huge thing to help your immunization, to help ward off COVID, and we're not hearing a lot about that.
That's vitamin D, zinc. There's a whole number of things. You go to Mercola, he's on top of it. Gary Null, on top of it. These guys are on top of it.
So, Gerald, what do you say to the people that always seem to come back with, whenever I bring up something like this, and I'll hear things later from you about you, but it's like, follow the science, follow the science, follow the science.
And I'm doing it. I just follow the science. How much more science do they need? Oh, you mean you mean the people that believe in the drug gangs? Oh, the opiate dealers? Oh, those? Oh, those are the people you love? Oh, you don't like natural healing. That's not for you. You like the drug gangs. Fine, knock yourself out. Bend over and get shot.
So what do you say to people that I think there's a crowd of people that I see in the audience that I have here that they want to do their own research. They've turned off the news because they think it's the same message, but they want to get stuff that's not considered crackpot, but they want to go find something to go to do their own information. What do they? I go on the OHA, the Oregon Health Association site, and the numbers don't add up for me. And then I get a lot of criticism because I'm saying, guys, I'm not a mathematician, but I can look at these numbers and it doesn't add up to me to where I should be as fearful as it seems that culture wants me to be. And I'm not.
Again,
I'm taking my precautions, but like I do with anything.
Again, as I said, I had a 4th of July rally up here, and I'm in Kingston, New York. We're 90 miles north of New York City. This is the first capital of New York State, the third Dutch settlement. I have 3 pre-Revolutionary War stone buildings on the most historic corner in America. I had Judge Andrew Napolitano up here. He's with Fox. I invited Black Lives Matter. It was Unite for Peace and Restore Freedom. They wouldn't come because I had somebody from Fox and because I'm on Alex Jones. Not that, forgetting that I host an hour on Progressive Radio Network every other week, that doesn't count. But anyway, you have to think for yourself. I had a rally, nobody got sick, nobody died. So this is 4th of July. The hate that I got for doing that. It's okay to have all these demonstrations and protests. You could have that. Right. But you can't rally for peace and freedom. That's not allowed. I only go by the facts. And again, I went through the facts. Who's dying, why, where, and how. It's all there. Obesity. Again, I put out a weekly magazine, the Trends Journal. It's 80, 90 pages a week. No advertisements. All facts. The motto of the magazine is think for yourself. As I'm looking, we're getting out tomorrow's magazine, going over some of the work today. There's one of the stories in here, and it says it all about where America is. Too fat to fight. An organization called Missions Readiness, which is comprised of former military leaders of America, issued a warning last week that the youth of the United States is not fit enough, both physically and emotionally, to defend the country. They found that 71% of those considered young Americans are unable to serve due to drug abuse and obesity. And they go on.
I find it interesting, and I've been really outspoken about this, is that they're closing gymnasiums. And I'm a regular gym goer, and it's like, I think my best thing to ward off me getting COVID would be to continually be working out and be doing the things that I'm doing. And we don't have a bunch of cases that have been found in gyms, according to the research that I've seen.
How about the ones that you closed down all the restaurants in New York City? You know what the infection rate of the restaurants is in New York City? According to the data, everybody listening, 1.43%. 1.43%, and we're going to put everybody out of business. Because I'm the governor. I'm a daddy's boy. An arrogant Andy Cuomo, born on third base and thought I had a home run and be nowhere like my brother Chrissy if daddy wasn't Mario Cuomo. One clown boy after another. You got that Gavin down there, Sununu up here in New Hampshire. Daddy was governor. It's one big club, and you ain't in it, as George Carlin said. You got it?
In Oregon, one of the things that was, I talked to another doctor out of Stanford, and he says the lockdowns are not, there's nothing to prove that they work. No. But he was saying one of the things that should never happen is a health department shaming people or having them shame people. And one of the first ads that came out in Oregon right after this happened was don't accidentally kill someone.
Oh.
That was the smartest thing they did, because it's now, I had a young man write me on my page the other day, and because of my, me just being outspoken and giving other information, he said, "How does it feel, Rick Dancer, to have killed someone?"
Now,
And I thought, when would you?
shit that jerk says? I could care less. I've been around. I'm 74 years old, born in the Bronx. I'm a fighter, a close combat martial artist. Nobody tells me what to do. I'm an American born to be free. I could think for myself. I write a magazine, no other magazine like it in the world. If you could show me one like it, let's talk. I'm an American born to be free. I am not going to put on a mask and get all aboard on the next train to Auschwitz. Don't fight. Don't raise your voice. Obey. Do as you're told. I'm your governor. I'm some low-life piece of slimy political crap that never worked a day in my life. And I don't have to worry about you going out of business. I steal your money in the name of taxes. So I got my money to pay my mortgages. I got my health care. I got my pensions. I'll tell you what to do. This isn't America anymore. Our Constitution has been robbed from us. It began with 9/11, and now the COVID wars destroyed it from us. No freedom of speech. No freedom of assembly. I'm in control. I'm a low-life piece of garbage crap called your governor. And I will give you the executive order, and you can shove that Bill of Rights up your you-know-what.
So, Gerald, thank you for taking your time to come on here and talk to us. Tell them again how they can find the magazine that with all these different facts that you're talking about.
Yeah, the Trends Journal, trendsjournal.com. And again, I'm going on to the equity markets. We called everything here. Gold as we're talking is up over $50. Bitcoin over 33,000. Silver hitting $27 an ounce. Every one of these things we forecast long before they happen. So given the precise times and dates. So people better prepare for the future, because we're going into one we cannot imagine. There's going to be a fake recovery. It's all it's going to be. You lost 10 million jobs. They're going to recover some of them. And people are going to think, oh, things are coming back. It'll get better. No, it won't. The bigs are taking over more control, and the small businesses are going to be going out more and more. You better prepare for the fight ahead in many different ways.
So what did people, somebody ask on here, what do we do?
Well, again, you start learning of the opportunities. There are going to be opportunities in this. You don't look at only the dark side of it. It's going to be a whole different direction of change. People in different industries, whether it's fashion, entertainment, on and on, they're totally out of clue with the psyche of the young people. You look at all the busts they had for New Year's Eve. This is an old people's death to young people. By the facts. None of their friends would die. And if they did, they were suffering from obesity, type 2 diabetes, lung disorder. You're going to go out anyway.
So the best thing people could be doing right now is getting healthy, losing weight, stop smoking, take those risk factors out that you really can do. That's going to do far more for you than wearing a mask and protecting yourself. And remember that these people are supposed to work for you.
Yeah, they forget that. Oh, by the way,
so do we, Gerald.
Yeah. I say everybody forgets two words: public servant. They're supposed to serve us. They got it reversed. And all these bureaucrats, these so-called health ministers, again, I told you I was with the government in New York State. These are people that can't make it anywhere else, that suck their way up to get a bureaucratic job, just to make it clear. So thank you very much and all the best.
Tell them again your website. How do they get a hold of it?
Trendsjournal.com, trendsjournal.com. If you want to read history before it happens, that's the magazine that will give it to you.
All right, I'm going to put it in the comment section there so everybody has it. Gerald, thank you for taking your time. I knew you were outspoken, but you gave me more than my money's worth. And I didn't
take care, man. All the best.
All right. See you later. Thank you.
Bye-bye. Yep.
Bye-bye. All right, you guys. So there you go. That's Gerald Celente with Trends Journal. And I put that on there so everybody can go in there if you want to find out more information. And here's the deal. You don't have to agree with them. He may have said some things that were way out there for you. That's okay. Challenge yourself just a little bit. But you guys, we have to have these conversations. It's you can't just, there's a lot of bullying going on. And a lot of people, I've had my share of it this week. And we can disagree. And and here's the thing to consider it. You might be wrong, and so might I. But what information are you listening to, and what are you finding for yourself? If we don't bring stuff like this to the table, that's what a journalist is supposed to do. And it may not happen in real life and in the news, but I think we should all be able to have that kind of information and be able to make our own choices. Boy, he's a wild man. I heard him on KPNW, and it was a little calmer than that. But boy, that guy got going. So yeah, again, some of you may have a problem with what he said. That's fine. But you know what? You could take little pieces of information and figure out what to do. But I think the greatest thing he said is we got to keep talking. We got to stop bullying one another. And it's time to have a conversation, because this is going to be a tough thing to handle right now. So if you would share this on your page so someone else might get to see it, we'll see what happens. And again, I want to thank Scott and Lisa Weld from Buck Sanitary Service. I told him who the guy was, what he was talking about. He said, sure, put it on there. And Scott and Lisa may not agree with everything he's saying, but that's not the point. God, I'm so tired of people coming on and threatening you because you aren't telling the message that they want. You guys, that's not how it's supposed to work. I was written up in a paper. It's not even a newspaper, saying that I'm giving out misinformation. How was it worded? Spreading misinformation about COVID-19. Horse shit. If you're just putting out one side of it, paper, maybe it's you that's actually only giving out misinformation about COVID-19. The idea of a journalist is to put out all the information and you go find it. And there's plenty of the other side out there. I'm just giving you something else to think about. And if you don't agree, I'm totally fine with that. Yes, he made some strong comments. Somebody could, Francis says, he made some strong comments. Yeah, I kind of think he's not real. He's from New York. So I'm kind of thinking he's not real big with the governor. But he also called himself a political atheist, which I think I am as well. The political system is broken. And I think there's a lot more going on here than meets the eye. So without his stand, we need his strong comments. I am surprised and grateful that you put this out there. Well, Francis, I heard a more mild version of him on the radio, and I thought, this guy's got some things and he's got the research. He's looking up the numbers. Everybody keeps talking about the numbers, and he's looking up the numbers. And I thought it would be a great show, and it was. Agree to disagree. I agree. Thank you, Becky. You know what? My favorite people that come on Facebook, honestly, and make comments. I like all. There's some of you I don't like, but I like most of you. But the people that come on and say, Rick, I don't always agree with you, but thank you for doing what you do. That's all I expect. I don't even expect a thank you. But I don't expect you to agree with me. I don't expect you to like everything I put out here. But I do expect people to look at all things, and especially things we disagree with. I spend a lot of time I don't listen to regular media anymore because I can't stand it, because I think it's all just feeding messages out there. But I look on all sides of the spectrum because I'm trying to figure out how this works and what it is. New Yorkers are different from the West Coast. Oh my God, Francis, you think? I was kind of like, whoa, without turning into assholes. And right, Melinda, you can hear it. I will not live in fear. I'm not either. Glad you did this. I am too. That was kind of fun. We'll see what happens. Watching from Independence, Oregon. Rich, welcome. Share this with your friends up there and let people know. And we have a lot of other content, not quite as wild. This will be the more entertaining, but we do cover a lot of things, and we could not do it without our sponsors. And I want to thank them again, Buck Sanitary Service, for trusting us. And, yeah. there's probably not much else I should really say. Love this. I think he was every reason to be passionate. We are all done tiptoeing. Great show, and I agree with everything. I think it's time that we just have conversation and talk. And if you're afraid of that, you should ask yourself why. To the people who get so mad, Zach, you need to go back and watch this one. You need more guests like him. Well, he's kind of a pretty high up kind of guest. I was a lucky get. I got to thank Bill London over at KPNW for giving me the contact information to find him. That's what did it. So tomorrow night, we have a really special show for you. Michael Bryson disappeared months ago. And his parents called me the other day and said, Rick, we really want to do a show, kind of talk about some new things that have come up and all that. And so we were trying to work this out for last week and all these days. And I finally said, hey, Parrish, that's his father, and Tina. I said, what if we did the show on the 5th? And it got quiet on the phone. And I was like, oh, shit. And they both kind of had quivers in their voice. And I said, can we do that on Tuesday the 5th? And they go, yeah, but that's Michael's birthday. So we're going to do a show about a young man who disappeared and probably was killed at a party. And we're going to do it on his birthday. So if you're tired of the COVID stuff and if you're one of those people that thinks I'm being negative and just hounding on COVID, tomorrow night will be a story that will touch your heart. This one touched your mind and your soul. That one will touch your heart and your soul. Watching from North Dakota, Mary. My son was just in South Dakota, and he said, you folks are the nicest people ever. He loved you. He really, really enjoyed you. So thank you. North and South Dakota, I know you're two different states, but you live in the same state of mind, which is much different than being in the Willamette Valley in Oregon. So good, Nellie. So share that also. Tell people. It really helps when you guys push people to the shows. Can I brag just a little bit? I don't mean this as a brag, but I'm really honored that in the last month, we've had over 386,000 views on our stuff. 386,000 views, more than. So, yeah, you guys are out there. And that's liberals, conservatives, lots of moderates, lots of libertarians, lots of political atheists like me. I don't give a shit about Democrats or Republicans or independent party people. I care that the middle has and finds its voice. And that's what makes me do what I do. So for those people who don't like it, go away. If this isn't your cup of tea, you don't have to stay here. I don't go to sites that I don't want to. If you come on my page and be an asshole, I'll block you. I don't put up with it anymore. I used to, because I thought it was really, let's just keep an open community here. No, if you're being mean to me or other people, I'm not going to keep you on here. If you question me, I'm fine with that. But when you start accusing me of killing people, you're gone. You're just gone. All right. So again, the buck stops here. That means you go do something with that information today. Either look into it yourself, go find his magazine and look for the numbers yourself, go to the Oregon Health Authority's webpage and look at the death rates and who's being affected and how it's being affected and how many people are surviving and how many people are dying. Go do your own homework and turn off your television and go be happy. Do not live your life in fear. It's too short. I had cancer. Life is too damn short. The school's over. That's Linda. We're working on that story too. We're working on a story with parents, and there's a movement in Oregon, a big movement where schools are starting to have in-person learning, and the push is on. to get it as soon as possible. So we are working on that story as well. All right. We'll talk to you guys later. Have a good day.